We got ourselves team 1 together with my voice. Oh, I like the snowy attire you got going on. I like the hat too. What is that mug? We got ourselves obnoxious. We got ourselves fat in here. We got ourselves a ring, and we got ourselves Supreme Kai, starting off with immediate big damage, got himself the grippy hand as a Frosty Death Knight. Frosty DK with Diabolicals up next, going in for a bit of a dark pack, protecting himself with a bit of damage, playing that Affliction this time around, where we normally used to Diabolicals playing Destruction, but the Affliction's dots are just burning right through Supreme Kai. He does go for a bit of a defensive, summons up a ghoul, probably should have adjusted how he uses those abilities in order, summon a ghoul, sacrifice it, then death pack. But using death pack before sacrificing ghoul kind of gave you that necrotic part of your bar that you couldn't really heal through, which is unfortunate. But man, honestly, that's a lot of damage. I don't think he expects the Diabolical to get stunned, teleport out, and just Supreme Kai is just like, I opened the guy, I stunned him, he ported away, and I'm the one rotting. It felt like Supreme Kai was the one making the opener. But apparently he was dying the entire time. Yet another port trying to see if he could reposition. Does go to the far side of the pillar. Supreme Kai doesn't really have much health to work with. Trying to go for a couple of chains. Throwing down the snowball over Dia. But there's nothing for it to bounce off of, which is unfortunate. Unless in the patch 10.2. Oh my god, the dots just popped like a balloon. Oh no, but in 10-2, that snowball is going to bounce between you and a Death Knight if you are in single target situation. Big hunt out for Diabolical. Looks like he's actually going to put all of his dots onto the pet. Maybe he can use the pet to kind of like fester these dots on him, and then he can transfer it off of the pet onto Ring. Is going to go for that big gate to pour it out of the way as Ring running in for all these pets. These pets are actually getting kind of dotted too and taking a bit of that passive damage. Hunt out, probably on Ring, is going to go for a quick trinket interrupt. Dia got himself the dots ramped up and ready to go. Fear onto Ring, but does break out of fairly quickly. Dia with yet another port, but he's not in a great situation. No wall available for this man. Might be in a bad spot. Looking for a drain life. No interrupt available for Ring. Trying to get himself a smallest shield and get a little bit of damage into Ring. Is this going to be enough? The drain life does give you a little bit of recovery. Ring, if you have an interrupt, you might be able to use it here. Unless the does just take it. Does go for the feign death. It is going to silence him. But he does go down either way though. Dia with no health whatsoever. How do you survive this? Looks like someone is still dotting him up. No mortal for a while, I don't think. And it's going to be Fat. Taking him out fairly quickly. Is going to be immediate trinket. A short and deadly bust out with full burst ready to go. I haven't seen this character in a while. The short and deadly character. I'm so used to on your rogue. LFG sucks. But short and deadly is the OG. Got himself a bit of a reflect. Fat trying to see if we can maybe get around this guy. Also, your name is a little bit unfortunate, but I am gonna go with what your name is, man, just to make it a little bit short and sweet. As short and deadly, trying to be less sweet, more. I guess the name implies it, right? I don't even need to finish that joke. As Fat got himself a little bit of a hand of freedom. Plenty of immunities to deal with a warrior for a good bit. Sharpened blades for short and deadly though, as he switches to the battle stance into a blade storm to make sure there's no hammer of justice to stop him. Fat is in a weird spot right now. Does have a play into a normal Draenei, not a Light Forge, but a plain Draenei. So he's gonna go for a little bit of a self-heal. Maybe look at his own health bar. Could be in a bad spot. Does Short and Deadly have a shatter to break past the bubble? I don't think he does. He's just gonna leap away. This is going to be an opportunity for the Paladin to recover quite a bit of health, looking for that recuperation. Short and Deadly is just fine, just as long as he doesn't get hit for like 6 seconds. He can restore his entire health bar. Quick stun around the corner, yet another Sharpened Blade is going to make it harder for the Paladin to recover. Does have a stun. Shield of Vengeance is going to help out a little bit with a Wake of Ashes to at least generate some resources and get himself a bit of a bite back into the warrior, as wings are active. Normal wings, not the Crusade wings. Fat is not in a great spot though. Could be an execute range. Actually, maybe misplay. What is this? No, the man pressed the wrong button. Oh, he went for the spell warden, but there's nothing magical about Short and Deadly. He's just his name is just his stature and his I guess how he makes friends with people, which probably doesn't. I mean, would you make friends with a guy that's absolutely deadly, running around with a big old pike? I mean, maybe. I guess depending on the setting, right? It's going to be Sivak trying to see if he can give him a bit of an honor duel, but looks like he's talking to Obnoxious. I think he wants to give him a chance. Sivak's like, you know what? I'm playing Arcane. That's a melee. That's a couple of melee over there. At least one caster. I will probably be fine. I usually have a pretty good advantage on those classes. How about you get a chance to play Obnoxious? I think that's what he's trying to do. Trying to see if he can get the guy to coax out, right? And he is gonna run in, he is gonna take the chance, man. Time to shine. In a way, for Sivak, it is kind of good because in a way Obnoxious does get the opportunity to soften up Short and Deadly. So for Seaver going through 3 players, if one of or 4 players, if one of them is a little bit on a softer end, minus a couple of cooldowns, I mean, it's probably going to be easier for him. I don't think that's what he's trying to do. I think, honestly, he's just trying to give these homies a chance. It is going to be a hunt out of Noxus. Does end up canceling. Stun is going to hit him immediately. Goes in for a trinket, flying up in the air, trying to see if he can bombard down Short and Deadly, but the guy is going to bail out of there for just a moment. So for Obnoxious, unless you got another tricks up your sleeve, you don't have a trinket, so the next stun lock is going to be pretty brutal. It's going to be a hunt, cancels out of it in the end, does still go for another hunt. Why you cancel out of it this time? Actually finally let it go through, maybe opportunity to catch up a little bit healing. Demon spawns in, but right before you can slay it, that is going to be Short and Deadly, unleashing the carnage. And I think he was going to try to see if he can get a honor duel out of Seaver, just looking at him, staring at him like, are you going to blast me with Arcane? No? Okay. Well, I guess I get a bit of that second wind after whatever bleeds are gone, right? Or do you not have second wind? Is there a dot on you? There's some kind of dot on you. Somebody's sticking you down. I'm not sure what. I'm going to guess one of the Demon Hunter bleeds potentially. But Seaver trying to see if he can go for a little bit of Ring of Fire, a bit of reposition for Short. Not going to really let him out of his side easily. Gnomish Ritual used immediately just to break out of the root with a Reflect Up, but Seaver is literally all over the place. He's right around the pillar, he's behind you, he's to the left of you and to the right of you all at the same time. Does get himself at least a bit of a parry. Maybe we'll be able to use the Warlock Hellstone to give him a little bit of the recovery. Looking for a reset behind the pillar, chased away by missiles with a cannon sphere waiting on the other side. Do you dodge it appropriately? Does not get to dodge it. The Seaver goes in for a little bit of that shit power. Did you guys get hit in the back? Yeah, Chief as well as Volcron, which is Night King, by the way. That is shield on his priest. Coming back in on this class, it's going to be big blasters onto Short and Deadly. I don't think there's anything much you can really do. Missile is just going to drain you. Does catch up a little bit of healing, but the touch of the magic just slams down right through you. There isn't much you can really do in that kind of a situation. I see Rick immediately dropping down Ring of Frost, thinking there's going to be Tier up next. It looks like Tier is going to be up next. Does he just charge in there? Ring of Frost around him. Looks like Seaver immediately going to trinket. Or was there a bleed that broke you out of your sap? I think there was a bleed, right? Tier immediately denied his opener, even having to burn a trinket. Full dots around him. Smoke bomb is up, but I don't think it's really going to stop the Arcane who's sending Arcane orbs at you. Tier knows he has to close the gap. Kidder shot. Seaver blinks right back into the Ring of Fire, coaxing the rogue back over there. Vanish for Tier, just trying to see if he can maybe get himself a bit of a breather. And looks like he does get hit by a couple of spells here and there, but somehow avoids them. I guess maybe the Vanish gave him a little bit of that, like, increased stealth capabilities for a moment, right? Because when you do Vanish, you get like an enhanced version of stealth for a bit. So even if you do take a hit during that like little window, 3 seconds about, it doesn't take you out of stealth. So I think that might have been one of those things where he just got hit by stuff during that buff. Potentially. That or this man is just a master at dodging abilities. Trying to see if he can go for an opener onto Seaver. Immediately blinking all over the place. Does have himself all the time. Rolling. Not yet. Waiting. It looks like he does get all the time, but it's actually just random procs. It's like class procs with Arcane charges, I think. Is going to have to cloak or shadows out of this one. That is the touch of the magic with quite a bit of burst. Not everything set for Seavark, but it's going to be a bit of a shadow melt. Does get caught back out in the open. Blinder to Seavark. Does go for the Iceblock just to break it with the touch of the match. With the Nether Tempest onto the Rogue. Trying to see if he can boop him out of the pillar. Is going to knock him back a little bit. Could go for a big opportunity. Vanish yet again. Still the Rogue got a down on him. Knows he needs to open back up in the open. Versus Seavark. Getting shot and cheap shot, forcing the trick out of the mage, trying to see if he can maybe end them. Ring of Fire is going to add quite a bit of extra damage. Seavark could go for big burst, trying to see if he can get him some shooting power for touch of the magi. Is going to apply touch, could go for big damage, maybe just missiles instead. Smoke bomb for Tier, but it's not going to do much for him. The man is still burning down, achieve death, but now the champ is clashing on him. It's just over. Touch of the magi is there to slam the rogue down. Unless you can escape back into the shadows, there isn't much you can really do. Woof, down, mustache looking mighty fire, praise the Lord. Yo, Sean, how you doing, my man? Hope you're having a good one. Hey, appreciate that. Voltron is going to be up next. This is Chill Pills on a Shadow Priest. He's been gearing this thing for a while. He got himself quite a bit of burst. Wants to give himself a proper go versus Seavark. Ring of Fire is going to be around the corner. It is a caster versus caster duel. Seavark using his Arcane Surge to empower himself off of the pet, off of the, what's it called? The Shadow Fiend. I don't really know why Chief got blasted there with a barrage, by the way. I don't think he meant to do that. Mind games on the Seavark is kind of limited what he can really do. He can't really go for damage right now. He wants to go for a knockback into Volt, trying to see if he can play it very, very safe here. Is going to go for a bit of a shielding with a prismatic barrier to give himself a little bit of the recovery. Big Mind Spike out of Volt, but it's going to be Seavark also responding with some missiles as well. and as well on top of it is a barrage. Arcane Sphere waiting behind Volk, unless you could fade it. Does get a juke it. Well, good move. Went left, juke to the right. That's going to be perfect. Stun it before he complete the Ring of Frost Fear right afterwards, and it's going to be at least some dot silence to follow to punish him with a Void Torrent. Does get to go for an interrupt either way, though. Tentacles are going to be attacking Seavark. Can use those tentacles at least to barrage over to Volk and give him a bit of mobility. Spike right after. Does he have an answer for this one? No, but the Touch of Magic is up. Volk may be in a situation where he goes for a Disperse. Does go for the Disperse. That's the weirdest Disperse ever. We could actually still see your model, but you are dispersing yourself. That is unusual. Normally you never get to see it. Ring of Fire around the corner. Volk, as long as it doesn't touch the flames, he'll actually not going to take a lot of damage. Seavark trying to see if he can knock him right through it. Trinkets out of this one to interrupt him. Maybe potential opportunity to go for a big blaster. Arcane Sphere, unless you could dodge it, could be quite a bit of damage. Does do quite a bit with missiles to follow, as well as barrages. Trying to go for some dots as well. Can actually use the images to apply like VTs on one image, and he can insta-cast damage onto Seavark. Got himself a bit of the ultra time. Maybe this will be enough. Trying to see if he can survive it. Not a lot of health. Got himself a shield last second. Volk is in a great spot. Seavark trying to see if he can sit down, get himself a little bit of food. And Volk is attacking one of these images. Realizes what Seavark did. Trying to see if he can stop a lot of his damage. Arcade Surge is going to be up next. Does the mage have himself a big go? If he got himself a big interrupt, maybe somebody can make work here. If he can interrupt him, does get to kick him. Hold on, big touch of the magic. Is this going to be enough? Arcane Sphere could be the end of you right now. Hold on a second, maybe. Dodges it. Oh, Barrage still does clear him through either way, though. My goodness. Trying to see if he can retreat with a quick poly onto Chief. And Seavark is now in a fight for his life as Chief. The man, the myth, the legend could just end his whole career right here. Seavark got no health at all. Barely, less than 50% stunned. Does not have a blink for this one. Oh, gets the last second. Has an Ice Block coming up very, very soon. If his Ice Block heals, he is okay. He might at least be able to get a recovery. Ice Block now, I don't know when they did this, but now look at that healing recovery. Dampening 67%. His healing restored to full. He won't have any more immunities. No more defenses. Not much you can really function with. But at least he should be maybe kind of sort of okay. Touching the magic onto the Chief with a Ring of Fire, applying a little bit extra burning damage. Chief with a wall on this one. He needs to be very careful. He can sort of kind of heal himself to recover. But at this high dampening, any defensive you have, any kind of utility you can do, like a grounding totem to redirect a powerful spell away from you, that will be helpful. Seavark does end up going for recovery. He knows he's still not out of the woods. He has a good set of defensives from a Prismatic, which is going to help out a little bit. Alter Time, which is going to be huge unless it gets removed. Invis, images, so he's got a couple of ways to reduce damage taken, but no Ice Block to fall back on. So he's got to get aggressive at some point. He needs to find a moment and push that offensive when he gets a second. Breath with a poly gives him an opportunity, trying to see if he can get himself a go all the time in order to make sure he can always reposition if he ever needs to. Chief trying to see if he can just back away. Maybe if he can just range a line of sight the burst out of this mage, that won't be the worst thing ever. Does not have a ground turn for this one. Trying to go for an interrupt. Seavark actually does get a juke out of it. And Chief is not in the worst spot ever, but Arcane Sphere and Ring of Fire is going to put some pressure on you with missiles around the corner. Wants to go for recovery. Got himself some Ghost Souls, so it's going to give you a little bit of that Maelstrom. Burrow to follow, just to dive underground. Trying to see if he catch up to Seavark. Does he have any mobility? Does go for a knockback as he does get booped up in the air. Shifting power is going to be out for Chief. That is Maelstrom recovery right now. Let's get interrupted as he goes in for a cast though. Big touch of the magic, maybe big damage. Barrage. Oh, no way. Oh, you're kidding me. Oh my goodness, if you don't come in for these duels just to watch this boy play, that was incredible. And also, I love the fact that Seavark gave the Demon Hunter at least a chance to play the game, but we gotta get back in there, man. I think revenge needs to be had. Seavark cannot be running amok like this. The team 2 got to band together to shut this boy down. That was so good. Mages is in fact OP. Not gonna, that was great. That was awesome. I can't say anything bad about that one. You know, call it favoritism. I enjoyed the hell out of that duel. I do wonder if mages are going to be able to do the same thing going forward, though. You got a dip already?